everyone and welcome to my After Effects tutorial. In this episode I'm going to show you something seriously cool. Just kidding, I'm going to bore you guys again. But in this video, awesome people, you will learn how to take Trapcode particular or third-party plugin for After Effects and create this beautiful stock background video file. And this awesome people has been created from scratch in Adobe After Effects, and I'm going to be sharing with you the technique that I used and how did I create all these bokehs in After Effects using the plugin. Now, before I get started, I would like to say that awesome people, I'm going to use two plugins, okay, Trapcode Particular and then Trapcode Shine. So once again, this is what we are trying to create, and I'm going to show you how to add some variations to this, and it's going to be epic, man. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to create a new composition. I'm going to call this YouTube, make it full HD, and I like to work with 29.97. This is really good for motion graphics, that's my personal opinion, and I'm going to keep this for 10 seconds. So do that, new solid, call it particular, Trapcode, drop in Trapcode particular, yeah, there we go. Alright, so this is our awesome plugin. Now we want to create something like this, right? We want to match this. So, well, first of all, awesome people, when you look at this, again, I want you guys to understand how to break a technique. You know, when you look at something, it can be something from National Geographic, it can be something from Game of Thrones. When you look at it and you see it, you should be able to just understand what was used, how it was used, and how it was made. So you can clearly see that there's like a, you know, kind of like a zoom out effect, and this is not actually a zoom out effect. The camera is going to move, so we of course need a camera for this. So alright, so we're just going to create a new camera. Okay, just kidding. Camera 50mm is going to be good for this, and click OK. Alright, now if there's a camera, awesome people, we're going to need a controller. This is something that I think everyone should develop a skill, that whenever you create a camera, awesome people, and you just know that you're going to animate it, create a new null object, and we're going to basically call this camera controller. I've been doing this ever since I started learning After Effects, and believe me, this is something seriously cool. You just take the parent tool for camera, take the parent and attach it to the null object. So now we are basically going to animate the null object, and the camera animation is going to happen on its own. Make sense? Super. Alright, so now awesome people, let's get started with the actual Trapcode particular work. Okay, so I'm going to go to emitter, and the first thing that I'd like to do is change the emitter type from point to box. And the main reason, awesome people, why we are doing this is because of these three settings right here. Now these three are only available with box, they're not going to be available with point. You see that? They're faded out. So go to box again, and we basically want to make this really big. So, you know, it's supposed to be going, forget out of the screen, this is going to be insane big. So I'm going to take the first value of the emitter X, I'm going to increase the size to somewhere around 10,000. So 1, 2, 3, there you go. Emitter Y is going to be 2500, and because of the Z space, awesome people, that we are you know, getting here, I'm going to add a very high value to here as well. So I'm going to take this to somewhere around 10,000. 1, 2, 3, there you go. So awesome people, we're going to get like a star field sort of an effect. You know, all the particles are just gone, man. So what we'll do, awesome people, is we'll first of all increase the size of the particle. I mean, increase the number of particles from 100 to 250. Alright, so we get a little bit more particles. Superb, this looks good. And you know what we're gonna do, awesome people, now this I'm just doing so that you guys can understand what's actually happening. You guys won't be able to see what's happening with these small particles. So let's create the bokeh effect first. Now generally when I was making this motion graphic, I kept the bokeh part to the end. I first was working on the particles animation, the camera animation, but just so you guys can understand what's actually happening, how the camera is animating, I'm gonna do the bokeh part first. So I'm gonna create a new composition. I'm going to call this particle, and I'm going to keep this 500 by 500. Alright, so you want this particle to be very small. Now we're going to create a new shape layer, right? Actually, awesome people, instead of doing the whole thing again, let me just go here to my particles composition, and you can see how this has been created, awesome people. So this is just two shape layers. Okay, one shape layer, I've added an ellipse, and I've added a fill effect. And on that fill effect, I have added an effect called linear wipe, taken the number to 45, 47, and increased the feather to somewhere around 135, right? So you get this effect. And I've created another shape layer, and I've just added a stroke effect on it. So one stroke, and I've just made, and I've deleted the fill, and I've increased the size to 258, just a little bit bigger so it surrounds my circle, and there you go. So once you have this thing made, awesome people, in another composition, I'm just going to delete the one that I made right now so we don't have any problems. So again, awesome people, your main particle is supposed to be in another composition. Drag that to your main composition, switch it off, and then we're going to say to particle that particle or particular, take the particles or get the particles, instead of making them circles or these spheres, make this particle composition the main source. So I'm just going to go to particle settings right here, particle type, instead of sphere, take the source from this particle composition. So we're going to take the sprite option, go to texture, and in layer you're going to select particle. Now this is going to give you a small warning that the size is too big. That's okay, just click OK. Thank you very much. I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to increase the size, awesome people, from 5 to somewhere around you can say 150. And you can see, awesome people, how we are getting all these particles have been duplicated from our particle composition, so we're getting this everywhere. Now you can see that this gets a little bit weird because every particle looks the same, like everyone has a light source coming from the right hand side, and that's not what we want. We want a little randomization, so a little rotation wouldn't hurt. So I'm gonna go here, there's a tab over here which says rotation. I'm just gonna increase this to, see, I'm gonna increase the random rotation a little bit so we can randomize this. I'll take this to 50, and I'm gonna increase this. I'm gonna increase the speed duration from 0.5 to 1. Now keep in mind, awesome people, this is a very sensitive setting, so you just have to give it, like, if you want to take it to extreme level, just go to say 5. Don't go more than 5. This is gonna just go and drive you crazy, believe me. And you can see that, you know, that there is randomization. For example, check this out, you know, there is randomization, so this is good. Now the only thing that I really don't like about this part, now we have that particle type done, okay, we have created the bokeh, the color part, we'll get to that right at the end. Now comes the animation part, the actual animation. What we'll do, awesome people, now the first thing I really don't like about this is that how they just pop up, you know, these particles pop up. I don't like that, so we'll fix that, awesome people. We will go to opacity. Oh yeah, actually, first things before going any further, just add this size random, increase this from 0 to say 50, not 50 is a little too much, go to 35. Okay, so you get a little more randomization with all that's different sizes. See that? Alright, so we have to fix that pop-up problem. What we will do, awesome people, is we'll go to opacity over life, toggle that down. There are some presets over here, click on this fourth one right there, and now, awesome people, you're gonna see that they just sort of fade in and then they fade out. There you go. Alright, this looks good, this looks good. We are getting there. I'll trim my composition so it can render a little faster. And what I'm gonna do, awesome people, is I'm gonna increase the size from 3 to say 10. Alright, so it basically lost the full composition. And now, awesome people, I sort of think that 250 particles per second is a little too much, so I'm gonna take this back down to 100. Alright, this looks good. Okay, so we're getting there. Now this is good. Okay. Alright, now, awesome people, we'll start to animate the camera. Now you can see, awesome people, that there the velocity, like not the velocity, let me just put it in simple terms. You can see that in our animation, the particles are moving a little too fast. Like there's a lot of you know, movement in the animation. And in my example composition, this is going to take time to load. You can see that there is hardly any animation from the particles. There is movement in the camera, but the particles are almost static. Like there's a little bit of movement, but that's it. Okay, so we cannot have that much movement in our main animation. So what we'll do is we will reduce our velocity. So you can see there's 100, just bring everything down to 0. 0, 0, okay, sorry. Yeah, there you go. So everything related to velocity, random distribution from motion stays to 0. So this is for now, just gonna come up like this and just stick in place. Now we don't want this either. We want a little bit of motion. So what we'll do is we'll come to physics, air, and we'll animate this. Or not actually animate, we'll just increase the value. So wind Y take this up to say -75, and this is sort of gonna go up now. See that? Alright, so you're getting there. A little bit of motion, maybe bring it down to -65. Now this is good, awesome people, getting there, but still the animation sort of feels a little sluggish. Not sluggish, but a little too static. And by that what I mean is that there is no animation in the particles. Like for example, again, now this is something that I'm not going to upload to YouTube, so you may not be able to see this, but when I'm playing this, you can see that the particle, this bokeh, actually rotates. You see that? It actually rotates, awesome people. So we sort of need to add animation in each and every particle. Now luckily Trapcode particular has a setting for that, so we don't have to work super hard. What we'll do is we will go to rotation one more time, and we will think awesome people. I'm getting a little we're gonna change this, rotate Z. I'm gonna increase this a little bit, alright, and nothing is gonna happen. Okay, I have to think now. Wow. Alright, there you go, awesome people. We're gonna change this to 0.5. So the thing that I'm animating or increasing the value is rotation speed Z. So I'm gonna take this to 1, and I think, okay, that is also a little too much. You see that? Just way too much. I'm gonna take this to 0.5, and this is also too much. Wow. And I think this is too much because of this value right here, so I'm gonna decrease this to 0.5. Okay, so we are slowing down, but still this is again a little too much. So 0.1, awesome people, and there you go. So we are getting a slight motion, and this looks beautiful. Now there is one more problem in the animation, and that is that it sort of like fades in all the particles. Now what I want is that at the start the particles are supposed to be there. So now some of you may prefer this, and that's good. If you want it like this, super, there you go. This is how you make it. But for those of you who want particles to be there on the screen, what you can do is you can go to emissions extra and increase the value over here. Pre-run the first value, increase this to say 35. And you're going to see that there are particles there. So they're still going to animate the way we have decided. Like they're still going to rotate. The randomization is still going to be there. But now they're going to be there from the start. Alright, now awesome people, let's start to animate the camera, or in this case the null object. So I'm going to start the animation. What I've done, awesome people, is that I've actually had the null object zoomed in, and then I started to take the camera backwards. So again, we are going to increase the Z value for the first frame. I'm going to take this somewhere around 5000, and then awesome people, right at the end I'm going to reset this. That's it. Alright, and now if you were to play this, you can see that we are like the whole camera thing is moving back, and this is not just scale up, scale down. You can see that the particle sort of flies through the scene, it comes in the scene, and there you go, another one, and this sort of adds to the whole movement, and this looks good. See that? Now if you want to add a little bit more motion, a little more cinematicness, that's what I like to add. You can animate the Z rotation. So just animate that. Take the second value up to 180. So this is half revolution. Go to the N keyframe and just reset this. So it's gonna rotate just a bit, and this is gonna look superb. See that? Superb. Okay, this looks good. Now if you are changing the parameters, that I think that you should create something seriously original. Animate, try to animate the camera a little differently. Try to add in X rotation, Y rotation. Try to change the position a bit. But in this case, I'm just gonna bring this down to 3500. So we have a little less zoom in, zoom out motion. Alright. Now there's one more thing I would like to add, awesome people, and that is the blur effect. So you can see how the motion graphic really comes to life when there is blur. So there is blur on this particle, and then slowly the main particle, the distance, when the distance between the particle and the camera increases, it too becomes blurred. and that I think is really important. So what we'll do is, in order to create this effect, we're going to use enable depth of field. So depth of field in Adobe After Effects, select the camera, hit AA, and there is an option right here which says depth of field, switch it on, and you're going to see that there's a little bit of blur happening. So this is not too much right now. Now in order to really just take this up, now keep in mind, awesome people, this is going to slow down your machine. So I'm going to have to bring this down to say a quarter, and I'm going to focus distance, I'm going to bring this down to 2500. Aperture, I'm going to take this to 150, and that's it. And now if we were to play this, you can see that we are getting a blur effect. Now I think this is not there yet. There you go. I'm going to take the aperture up to 750, and now if you were to play this, you can see how they just kind of start with non-blurred versions, and then they as the distance increases, the further away they go from the camera, they get blurred, and the new ones, the new particles, come in focus, and I think this looks really good. Now you can increase the number of particles from 100 to 150. If you want more particles, you can take it all the way up to 500. Maybe play around with the size settings if you think this is too much. Try to increase or decrease the size. Try to bring the size down to 100. Do something crazy and see what works best for your project, or try something out different. Right now, what I'm going to do, awesome people, is I'm going to show you how to add some color to this. So color, right, color. I'm going to create a new adjustment layer, and I'm going to call this Trapcode Shine, or I'm just going to call it Shine. And if you have the full suite like me, now these are expensive plugins, awesome people, so I understand if you don't have them, but this is Shine. Take it and drop it onto the adjustment layer, and this is what you get, masterpiece. Just kidding. Transfer mode, change that from none to add, and right off the bat you can see, awesome people, that you're getting something really beautiful. But these ray lens, I think, these high-end lens, I think that distracts me a bit. Some of you may like it, I don't. So you can increase or decrease the ray length from here. So I'm going to bring it down to 1.1 maybe, and that sort of looks nice. Now you can take it down to 0 and see how that works. Alright, there you go. And what you can do, awesome people, you can also play around with the colorize settings right here. So if you don't like the color of your particles, you can change the presets. So there are already some really good presets like 3 color. The one that I'm using in my example video is the fire one. So you can use that, and you can see that we get some really good particles made. Now, awesome people, again, this tutorial was recorded in 15 minutes. I worked on this piece for about 1.5 hours. You see, 10 times as much time as I put into making this tutorial video. So what I'm trying to say is, this may not look as perfect as this, but the techniques are the same, right? And right at the end, what I did was I added a letterboxing effect. So take a new solid, I'm going to call this boxing. The color doesn't matter. Break the link of scale, change the second value to 80, and change the blend mode to stencil alpha. And there you go, awesome people. That's how you create a beautiful, nice, elegant piece of background, stock animated background effect in Adobe After Effects with the use of Trapcode Particular and Trapcode Shine. This renders really quick. It just took me about 5 minutes to render this full thing. This is in full HD, by the way. So again, quick render, great effects, looks really nice, and this can be used for, I don't know, wedding titles, or just some some YouTube stuff, awesome people. So this is how you do it. My name is CJ Style. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial video. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned something today. If you did, then please subscribe, like my Facebook page, link in the description, and I will see you all next time. Take care, awesome people, and peace out.